I used to really struggle with hobby ADHD, for lack of better terms, where I would see a hobby like online or in real life and I'd be like, oh my gosh, that looks so fun. And I would go out and I would buy all this stuff for this hobby and I'd maybe be interested in it for like a month or two, and then all that stuff would end up in the closet. Here's what I did to kind of combat that. I basically set an expectation for myself of commitment to a certain hobby based on what I could get for the bare minimum, or for nothing at all in a lot of cases, before I went out and bought stuff. For example, last year I got really into running and I was like, well, I have a decent pair of running shoes. They're not great for long distance, but let's just see if I can commit to running in general. I had a running belt, I had exercise clothes. I did not have a gym membership. I did have access to trails, like running trails, and I also had access to a gym in my apartment that I was already paying for. I gave myself about 2 or 3 months of I need to be running at least 2 to 3 times a week. It doesn't matter how long the run is, before I'm signing up for a marathon, before I'm buying long distance running shoes, before I'm buying a vest. And even when I did invest in all of that, it was very minimal. I think those were really the only 3 things that I spent like a considerable amount of money on. I didn't buy new headphones or any of that. I kept it very simple, but I had to commit to those first few months before I allowed myself to buy stuff for it. Similarly, and I don't really know if everyone would have access to something like this, but my mom used to be a crocheter and I really wanted to get into crochet. One day she showed me how to start it and she gave me some yarn and a crochet hook to practice, and I was like, okay. And I think I made like a scarf, but I also just loved doing it, and I did not spend any money on yarn or anything for like the first month and a half of doing it, because I was like, there is no way I'm gonna stick with this. I used to do it when I was little, there's no way I'm gonna stick with it. And I ended up actually sticking with it. So then I started actually allowing myself to buy yarn, to buy extra needles that I needed, and extra things like patterns and stuff like that. But I do have a very strict, I have to commit to the hobby before I'm investing money in it, rather than investing money on hobbies that I don't even know if I'm gonna like.